Is everything on? Testing. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Please excuse my lack of expertise in this, as it is my first time using this system, but I'm very excited to be here. Let us see. I had everything so organized, you guys. I had everything so organized and then I panicked last minute. Okay, how does it sound? Can you hear me? Can you hear background music? Yay, hello, hello. Thanks for coming. Good, okay. We can hear. I love it. I love that we can hear. That's important for learning. Okay, so we have a lot to cover today. If you can hear me okay, let's kind of get right into it. It's a lot to do in 2 hours. And yeah, I'm really excited. So we are doing a map crunch study. I don't know if anybody is aware of what map crunch is. It's one of my favorite ways to study architecture, nature, things from life without having to leave my room. So I'm going to pull over. This is the website. It's called mapcrunch.com. And essentially, it's Google Maps. This is actually a really nice location it brought me into. I'm kind of sad it didn't show me this when I was exploring the other day to find our options for today's stream. But yeah, essentially, it drops you into a random location on planet Earth. And you can, have options of what kind of country, what kind of urban, indoor, whatever. I'm not actually sure what some of these are, but you press go and it takes you to a new location somewhere in the world. And you get to kind of see what's going on in other countries. It's pretty interesting stuff. Yes. I want to shout out Mike McCain. He is the one who I discovered Map Crunch studies from, and he's a brilliant artist, worked on Spider-Verse. I took a workshop from him a while ago, and he's also the artist who most of my brushes that I'm going to be using come from. Wow, like look at, are we in like an airport? Like that's crazy. It's like it just takes you into so many really, really cool locations. Okay. So I'm going to close this. That's what Map Crunch is. Explore at your own will. You can get lost there for hours. And yeah, so shout out to Mike McCain. I'll show you the brushes that I'm going to use today. And let's kind of get started. So I'm going to delete this. This is the image you guys picked from the poll. I was kind of surprised, but I think it's a good one. And this is how we're gonna get right into this. It's like, usually these things take me like at least 3 hours. We gotta do it in two, so it's gonna be a real test. So the first thing I'm gonna do is like show you how I set up my Photoshop. So it's not like how you typically would arrange it. So usually what I do is arrange and I do two up like this. However, they're in the wrong spot. So try that again. We arrange. There we go. So I work like this so that you can see only when I'm doing map crunch studies. So you can see the reference up top, and then I make both of the sort of documents about the same size. And then I pretty much start painting. And whenever I do a study, I always start with a nice orange. Also, we have to make sure we're on the right layer. It's probably gonna be an issue that comes up. So yeah, we're gonna start with a beautiful orange color. And sometimes when I do this, I don't even sketch, I just kind of paint. But for you guys, I will do a tiny little sketch just to block things out. And you can see all my beautiful brushes. I have an insane number of brushes. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But let's see, yes, my favorites are these guys, flat angular brushes from Mike McCain. I can't give these to you, or I would, but you can go buy them from Mike McCain on his page, or I think he's got like a Gumroad. And eventually I would love to make my own brushes, but alas, there's more skilled people than me who do it. So what? I completely reasonable. I didn't even scroll all the way to the bottom. It's insane. Okay, let's get drawing, you guys. Let's get drawing. And if there's ever anything, going on, you have questions about, please feel free to ask them. I'm kind of just going to go through the process. Some of these things might be, like, I'm kind of hoping I can explain as much as I can, but I've done a lot of these. And so if I sort of do something, I'm like, yeah, that's just how you do it, and you have questions about it, feel free to ask me and I'll just try to clarify. Hello, hello. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is kind of just roughly map out like our kind of pinpoints of like what's gonna go where, and I will fudge around like sort of the sizing of certain things. So I'm just gonna like block some stuff in real quick. Pretty wide perspective. Um, I might adjust some compositional elements. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great thing for artists to do is like take an image and make it your own. I like to kind of follow as best as I can. So like what you don't see is me like using my pen to kind of measure angles and like bring it down onto my other screen to measure things. And then I also, you can see my pen, like I kind of like using it this way in this setup so that I can like figure out where things are gonna line up if I'm trying to get that kind of accuracy. So like this kind of ends here. So that'll kind of go like that, right? This kind of goes here on the page. So I'm kind of constantly measuring things, even if it's kind of subconsciously. There's like a little object right here. I'm not gonna be too crazy about this. Like let's say this ends here. There's gonna be some trees here, and there's gonna be a nice mountain. You know what? There's nothing wrong with default brushes. I think I used to be, and I still am a big fan of just the round brushes and being able to like play around with the flow and have like, if you have control over that, you have control over everything. Like, you know, I know a lot of artists who get really tired of people being like, what brushes do you use? Because it doesn't matter what brushes you use insofar as like the skill of the artist. I love playing around with different brushes though because it does create different effects. So brushes are important to a degree, but like do, you know, use what you've got and get really good at what you got. So, yes. Let's see. Okay, so this is kind of, there's some trees over here. Whoop, 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 whoop. You see my beautiful sketching skills. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yum. Trees. I love trees. I like this one, guys. I'm really glad you picked this one. I was surprised. I thought you guys were going to pick the forest for sure. I was like, you guys are going to want to learn those beautiful, beautiful foliage tips that I have. But there is some foliage in this. There's some really nice trees and stuff here. I'm a big fan of this one. I think we can do a lot with the moodiness. So honestly, you guys, that's my sketch. Hi, Faye. Oh my gosh. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me. I am going to, how far along? I'm gonna have to keep track of time. This is gonna be kind of tough to make sure we do it all. So only been 7 minutes and we got a sketch. I think that's a pretty good timing. So let's see. But what I'm going to talk about right now, we're going to switch gears a little now I've got the sketch done, and we're going to talk about an exciting opportunity where Wing Canvas has been invited by XP Pen to join the judging panel for their annual 2025 Christmas concept art themed The Magic Mirror Journey Begins. I'm going to pull up a really wonderful image for you guys to look at while I say this. I believe this is from the wonderful artist Josh from Wing Canvas. Am I correct? Yes? Yes, our very own instructor Josh has created this exhibition piece to help you get inspired. And Wing Canvas, along with 2 other guest judges selected by XP Pen, will be judging the final entries in January. I think that I forgot to say something earlier. It's a gorgeous concept. You take a mirror, treat it like a gateway, and create a Christmas fantasy world on the other side. Illustration, comics, 3D animation, pretty much anything is fair game for this competition. The contest runs December 4th to 31st, so if you're ever wanting a friendly nudge to create something ambitious, this is the perfect opportunity. We've partnered with them to align our curriculum, live streams, and monthly Discord challenges so you can sharpen your skills while knocking out multiple goals at once. Yes, Josh cooked again. And yes, hello, I am an instructor now. I'm very excited to be here. Anyway, this is a beautiful challenge. I'm very excited to be here. I think if you guys watched my stream with Faye earlier, like way back when was it? In September, I talked about my journey with Wing Canvas, and it was one of my, I think Faye was officially my second art instructor ever. So pretty cool to be back here and be an instructor myself. I'm very happy and grateful to all the people at Wing Canvas. They've been so welcoming. And yes, I'm very excited to finally be here streaming for you guys. So let's get back into the painting. Okay. So what I like to do at this stage, I don't like to color pick from my reference. I like to create my own, like use my own eyes to figure out what the colors are. And I like to start, we'll start with the sky. Yes, let's start with the sky. And you guys are gonna see how I kind of work with my layers. I bring the sketch on top, but I'm even gonna like lower the opacity. We don't really need to see that. It's just like a warm-up kind of. I don't really do proper art warm-ups, so that's kind of my version of a warm-up is just the sketch. And the tones that we're using are kind of gonna be in this area, right? Like kind of the murky greens and oranges and a little red in that door. And honestly, this is kind of a really cool pale blue, which I think is going to be a nice contrast. So maybe a little pale blue, but it's mostly going to be here. So maybe we've got, what kind of color scheme you guys think that this would be? Analogous, complementary, triad? Any guesses? There actually is a pretty natural color scheme here. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, somewhere out there, 9354 for the $5. That is so nice of you. Can't donate much since this is the state. Oh my gosh. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. I feel so welcome on my first stream, you guys. I'm having so much fun. So much fun. I'm so excited to be here. And I really hope I can create something awesome for you guys. Yes. Let's get into it. So honestly, this is not going to look like very good at first. Art doesn't look good at first, and that's okay. So if you start drawing and you're doing your sketches and you're like, why does this look like crap? I want it to look good right away. It's just natural. It's just the way it is. Everyone will tell you that. You got to get through the ugly bits. And I'm using the lasso tool a lot here to just block some things in. It's gonna make my process easier later. Because this isn't going to be a long stream, this is just like a quick study, we're gonna keep things super loose. And so we're gonna work really far away. Yeah, literally just color blocking, exactly. Yeah, I'm doing it with the lasso tool, which is color blocking. I love the lasso tool. I could paint with the lasso tool all day. It's one of my top tips. It keeps things loose. You're not like fiddling with brushes, And I do work in a lot of different layers at first, but sometimes you might see, we'll see how I kind of approach this one. Sometimes I don't really know until I do it, how many layers I'm gonna work with. So sometimes I like literally just start combining the layers when I get going, and yeah, so we'll see. It's also been a minute since I've done a study like this, so I also am kind of warming up myself. So please be patient with me as I figure out how to paint again. And I'm kind of doing this in the wrong order. So like, as you can see, some of this foreground stuff is in front. Usually I like to keep my foreground stuff in front, but we haven't really gotten to that yet. So I think it's fine. But I will go back down to do my mountain above the sky here. Yes. I love painting mountains. I was kind of sad you guys didn't pick the mountain, but I get it. I get it. This one's more exciting. And then this mountain is a beautiful blue, so we get to use that nice atmospheric perspective. But I actually think that instead of using blue, I think we're just going to keep it kind of really cool here. Like we'll see if we can kind of use color theory to create a blue out of other colors, right? Like gray, just using things like how color looks next to each other will kind of create that blue effect without having to actually use blue. Yeah, color theory, shout out. Oh yeah, my sketch. Yeah, I keep my sketches simple. I don't like sketching that much, you guys. I just like painting. I like color. I don't like sketching. Sometimes I don't even sketch at all. I'm gonna block this house in. How about that? Let's just block this house in. I also kind of like the shape that I gave it. It's like super wonky. I love wonk, you guys. I love wonk. I'm gonna block in the whole thing, and like maybe I can show you guys how I do like masks and stuff and clipping masks and all that good stuff. We'll just we'll put that in there for now. Put this at the top, and then sometimes as you get into it, you can kind of turn this off and see how things are looking. And I also love doing it's Control U is the hotkey on Photoshop. You get the hue sat. And you can like play around with, see, look at that. Look at how blue that looks. And it's just totally gray. I think that's kind of insane. Color theory does like blow my mind. Anyway, we'll just darken that up a little. Well, that's a bit closer. And so yeah, so in order to make a clipping mask, I just do that. And then now anything you do on this layer will not exceed beyond the layer below it, the layer it's attached to. So that's always super, super nifty. So I can just go like this, and this, and this. And then I don't need to worry about being, you know, clean on that end. So, and then if you click this sort of backslash tool, you can lock the layer and just like put in a new color there completely. So the color blocking is for roughly figuring out the entire color of the art. Yeah, I would say so. It's kind of warming up, getting the colors down, because then like you don't want to get into the details before you know what colors you're going to be using. And you're going to kind of see as I go along. I like to pick colors from the ones I've established and like move them around on the color wheel slightly to get some variation in there. So you'll see why that's kind of like an important part of my process as we go along. Just gonna do that. And then there is this beautiful, oh, I love this like red shing across there. So let's get a marker out here. I love the flat guys, the flat brushes. I love the blocks. That's like one of my favorite ones to block things out with. So for this study, I will be using many brushes. I'm also using my mouse right now. I'm like a big mouse painter, which is maybe not normal, but when I block things, then I'm using my mouse. And that's partially to save my shoulder a little bit, but also it's just like become habit from my last job of using, I did a lot of mouse painting. So you can paint with any tool, you guys. You don't need a Cintiq to paint. It's hard to paint with a mouse sometimes, so you get used to it. But once I get into the nitty gritty, I'll be using a brush. However, if anyone follows me on Instagram, shout out to my Instagram. I posted a new painting the other day, and I pretty much painted that with a mouse, almost exclusively. I didn't even mean to. It just like I finished it, and I was like, oh, I guess I like didn't pick up my pen for this. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, so that's looking pretty good. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Also, I'm really sorry, guys, of like trying to figure out how to read and paint at the same time. I'm trying to like lock in a little so I can give you guys a really good demo. But I also want to talk to you guys, so yeah. Oh, you only painted with a mouse once. It really hurts. You know what? I have a ergonomic mouse from Logitech, and it's also saved my wrist. So I highly recommend getting all the good ergonomic stuff that you can. To save your body and also work out a lot. Lots of good workouts. So let's see. I think we're getting to a point though where I'm probably gonna start getting in there. Yeah, I think let's see how we're looking without this. So yeah, you know, there are still some things to be done, like this road. So this is where I now will go and like make adjustments with the hue sat. That's why I like blocking things in so that I can like quickly change colors, right? And it's already on a separate layer, don't have to worry about it. So we're gonna just adjust this a bit. The color will come together, you know? The color will come together as we go. That is what I always trust. Even though some things look weird at first, I always trust that my colors will work out. Because I know color theory. Yeah, avoid that shrimp pose, you guys. Get a nice ergonomic chair. I have a standing desk. I'm not standing right now. We'll see if I stand later. We'll see. Okay, so I kind of want to paint you. I kind of want to paint this guy. Okay, let's do it. Let's paint this guy. So right now it's a really gray color. I'm gonna get a really soft brush for this. Let's see. This atmosphere brush is probably going to be a pretty good brush to use. Let's see. Yeah, isn't that nice? Clouds are pretty hard. I'm not going to spend literally more than a couple minutes doing these. And honestly, it's feeling really, really, really warm. So I'm going to push it over to this cooler. Like I find this green a bit cooler. And I know we've talked, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about cools and warms, and a lot of that kind of theory is only really relevant when you're comparing it to another color. So, you know, even though like this color might be warm compared to like a different color of blue or green, but here it's nice and cool. So I'm just gonna, it needs to be a bit darker. Yeah. So we're gonna just do a little bit of, some of the shadows that are in the clouds. Just give it a little bit more of a vibe, because I think that the sky really does help set the tone a little bit. And eventually I'll probably get some hard edges in there. But the sky I don't think is like, it's important for setting the mood, but I don't think it's the most interesting thing about this painting, about this composition. So we'll move on. Okay. I kind of like to start at the back. So what I'm gonna do is do exactly that. I'm gonna use, let's see, for these trees, Mike's got some, the reason why I love Mike's brushes is because he's got all these, like, look at that. Awesome brushes. And so this really helps do things a bit faster. So we're just gonna throw in some of those, even though it's not quite the right shape of trees. We're gonna throw in some of those. Throw in some trees. Hello, hello. Block it all in. The back can be super, super rough. Sometimes I just like using this brush. Oh, and here's a fun tip. So this is, yes, tree brushes. This is honestly, I have so many tree brushes. I worked on a show where we had so many different beautiful brushes that help make things so much faster. But here's a tip. So if you click F5, you can get into the brush settings and you can add color dynamics. I love color dynamics. And now when I do this, let's see, yeah, all of these are slightly different colors when you click each time. It's like within 3% of the same color, but there's variation. So it kind of creates more depth without you having to like constantly change the color. I love this brush too. We're just gonna get in there with some messiness. We're gonna be really messy right now. Super messy. Yes, color dynamics are awesome. You have to be careful about your color dynamics though, because it's super easy to go overboard with those. And I'm guilty of that. Very guilty of that. I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit because I did go overboard here. I think that I'm kind of getting a little lost in the background, honestly, like just in this area. So we're gonna leave it. I think I really want to focus on this ground plane and just kind of really get some of those colors right, because I think that's where we're struggling. And this is the beginning, so you know, you always struggle at the beginning. So what I'm going to use for this is a flat brush. This is why I like using my mouse. I have just more control in my mouse. So we're going to do a messy taper, and I'll show you why it's messy. So this is a more color dynamics, right? You see all those beautiful different messy colors in there. So I like using this kind of brush for grass because it just kind of gives you a natural color variation without having to like paint individual brush blades of grass, right? Also, I'm zooming in there. Bad Kelsey. Don't do that. Don't zoom in. Not at this stage. Yes, we love texture. We love texture. But we love cautious texture. Don't go crazy. I do go crazy at first just because it's the base. And so you guys will see that I like to color pick from the variation here. Texture. Yeah. I love referring to art as yummy. It's yummy texture. It's yummy. So yeah, we're just literally block it in there. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm warming up to you guys. Figuring out how to paint again. I was working until a couple of weeks ago full time. So I really, unfortunately, once you start working full time and this is your job, it's kind of hard to set aside time to like make personal stuff. So I'm really excited to be back at it with you guys and hopefully make something pretty cool. And yeah, I will get to all these trees and stuff eventually. I kind of I think it might look a bit better if I actually add them in, but let's get messy. Let's keep getting messy. Add some of that. I think we need a little bit more saturation, honestly. I think we're getting a little dull. A little dull. The grass actually looks like Dubai chocolate, so it's literally yummy. I wish I knew what that looked like. I'll have to look it up. I've heard of Dubai chocolate, but I don't really know what that is or what it tastes like, but I do love chocolate. Shout out to chocolate being the best. I'm a Kit Kat connoisseur. Does anyone have a favorite chocolate? Oh, Dubai chocolate is a new craze. Oh gosh, I used to be kind of chronically online, and then I started getting old, so I don't know what that is. I don't know what the kids are talking about. Oh, chocolate mixed with pistachio. Oh, that sounds pretty yummy. I was in Spain at the beginning of this year, and I love European chocolate. Milka. Anyone tried Milka? So good. If all the grandparents saying yes, please tell me what the kids are eating. That's my grandma voice. Let's just get this guy looking better. Okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Trust. Milka is so good. Oh, Milka's so good. I have some in my freezer right now. They sell it at my local grocery store, I think. Like, honestly, bless Toronto for having an amazing international food scene. It's one of Toronto's, like, best features. As much as I have qualms with Toronto, and that's where I live, if you didn't get that, but, yeah, Toronto has amazing international food. Literally, I could walk down the street and go get anything I wanted. Delicious. Let's see. We're gonna go back to some messiness. Messiness here. I don't like. There we go. Okay. We're getting real messy. And I'm gonna show you. Actually, this is a pretty good time. I'll just fill this guy in, but I'll show you eventually the grass brush, which is. I did demo it a little when Jesse and I were doing the Critique Your Art stream. But I will go. It's going to be a main component of this painting. The grass brush. I love the grass brush. Okay, and then this, like, because earth, like, you know, earth, grass, dirt, like natural stuff is a lot of variation. So let's just lean into that. And also, I am always thinking about, like value. So in this area, this kind of light patch was way too light if you look at the reference. So yes, can I explain the texturing that I'm doing? Yeah, so this is just I said it before, but if you click at F5, it's just a color dynamics. So you apply per tip in order to get, so each like stroke has multiple different color jitters in it. But then if you click off apply per tip, then each different stroke will have a different color. So it's just yeah, it's called color jitter. And it's easy to, you know, abuse this feature. So, you know, don't go too crazy with it. But I think it's a really nice base to get started and then like kind of pick colors from. So that's kind of how I use it. Because yeah, it can get really overwhelming and busy if like you know, aren't careful. And like right now you can probably see this is kind of crazy, but don't worry, it'll get better. What I want to do now is something a little controversial. I want to blend everything into one layer, except maybe the sky and the mountain. I sometimes do this in studies and the house. Like I'm just gonna go whoop, whoop. Okay, it's all one layer now. Yeah, that's another way that I work. And so now what I'm gonna do, since we kind of have this base, I want to do these trees. So the way that I start with trees is usually like just a brush kind of like this. That's a pretty decent brush for it. You know, and then this is like a little darker than what's in front of it. So if this is the color I'm going with, let's go a little darker. And we are going to just kind of block in. Trees don't get, I was doing a little demo with Jesse on someone's work that had trees in it. And this is kind of what I'm talking about where I say find references. Because like this is what trees look like in the real world, right? So, you know, we have like our own, we call it a visual library of sort of objects that we can think of and not really need reference for. And the more that you study from life, the bigger your visual library will become. So this is kind of like, now that I'm drawing this tree, it's kind of becoming part of my visual library because I'm thinking about, okay, you know, what are the, like, what does this tree look like? What are the shapes? How can I like paint this again? If I was gonna do this again and bring it into like a different painting, how would I do it? So I kind of paint the big trunks like this, and then eventually I have like a different tree brush that I kind of use to create this kind of chaos. But I'm gonna move on to like this stuff here because that's kind of more important in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, you guys are talking. What are you guys talking about? Zooming out, squeezing your eyes helps you see. Yes, I sometimes like totally let my eyes go like super, everything is blurry, and then you just see kind of what's important and important values, and you lose the details. Teach you that in art school. You know, if you wear glasses and your prescription's not terrible, unfortunately my prescription is terrible, you can just take your glasses off, honestly. But yeah, squint your eyes. I kind of have taught myself like by staying zoomed out like this, you know, with enough practice, you can kind of not need to do it too much, but it is really good. Like even now I'm doing it right now and I'm seeing like, okay, what's working, what's maybe not working. So yeah, do that. That's awesome. So all this stuff, there's gonna be a lot of rocks and chaos here. So I'm just gonna like lightly kind of draw where that line's gonna be. And we're gonna paint a beautiful tree. Paint a beautiful tree. This guy. So it's kind of like right here. I can kind of, if I want to line it up, but honestly, we're kind of past the point of doing that. But how do you guys like the way that this setup is? Like, have you guys ever painted this way where you have both of your kind of painting and your reference like right on top of each other like this? I learned this from Mike McCain, and I love working this way now because it really forces you to keep your canvas small, and yeah, and then you can't zoom in. I find myself zooming, like that's my worst kind of habit, is zooming in. Yeah, zoom out, work big. That's why we kind of blocked in that big stuff. So honestly, I'm gonna paint in like some and also I can't zoom in on the reference either. Like if I wanted to, I could be like, okay, what's going on in here? Let's get into the nitty gritty, but like how, that's not useful for the kind of study that I'm doing, right? Like the kind of study that we're doing right now is just color, and you know, getting the color right, getting composition right, making sure the value's right. So if you squint, like you don't zoom in with your eyes, right? We don't have binoculars, so you're not going to see that way in real life. So it's a little bit more real. And even this way, like I can show you guys maybe at the end of the stream, seeing how far I get, I can show you some of my finished pieces, like my finished ones and what they would look like, so that you can see, you know, how, and I'll zoom in for you guys on those so you can see like how, you know, unrealistic the texture is, but it still works somehow. Still works somehow. Okay, this guy can come back. Yes. I wish my eyes were binoculars. I don't know if I do, actually. I kind of think that might be a curse. I don't know. I could just zoom in on anything. I mean, it would help me with, like, restaurant menus. Honestly, one of my biggest pet peeves now is when they give you, like, a QR code for restaurant menus. Like, I don't want to use my phone at a restaurant. Anyway, that's just me and my old lady ways. Okay, so that's kind of the base of that. Okay, I guess I can show you guys how I paint some, let's see, branches. So I got some brushes. So like this is a branch brush from Mike McCain, and literally just look at that. It's a branch for you. Okay, so I use MapCrunch to find the reference for this, but it's essentially like you can use Google Maps if you want. MapCrunch is, I find, a bit handier because it literally has a feature, like it's kind of made for exploring different locations in different areas. So you can literally just click go and it'll take you to a random location instead of you kind of having to pick the location yourself. So I love MapCrunch. This is a MapCrunch study, hence the title of the video. But like you can take the principles that I'm showing you kind of here and apply them to any study or any painting, you know. I'm just gonna, you know, get in some of this. Oops. Don't do that to me. Also, I have a very clicky keyboard, so like apologies if all you hear is click, 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 clack, clack, clack. Okay, and we're gonna use this same brush to like get some of this good stuff here. They do. A little texture. Yeah. There's a bunch of, yes, there's a bunch of tree branch brushes. There's also shrubs. There's also grass, leaves. Yeah, it's awesome. Cracks. Yeah, it's really awesome. So sometimes I like to use the streak brush for branches because it just kind of, this is like the streak brush. So it just kind of creates, it's like you're lining with like, you know, 3-in-1. But sometimes, you know, it looks a little unnatural. So sometimes I use it. Sometimes, here's a fun tip as well. So if you use it like this, and let's say you're like, I don't like some of that. If you click the squiggly key on your keyboard, you can use the same brush to erase. So I like doing that. And just kind of, and I'm getting a little too zoomed in if I'm being honest for my liking. So we're gonna zoom back out. Zoom back out. Just kind of go like this. And get some nice squiggles. Whoop. Some restaurants are starting to do no cash pay. So I think that this is another old lady take, but like that is technically illegal because currency needs to be accepted, right? So like legally in Canada, at least I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a lawyer. Don't take law advice from me. I don't think I would give that warning, but legally, like it's legal tenure, right? Or is that the word for it? It's legal currency. They need to be able to take it. It's illegal for them to deny real currency. Legal tender is that what it's called? Yes, I am a woman of much knowledge, many facts. I love trivia. I love factoids. So I'm actually gonna go back to maybe this micron brush here. And we're just gonna kind of do some nice scribbles. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, Canada, yeah. Thank you for, yes, I love trivia and facts. Quiz me. I'm not the best at trivia, if I'm being honest, but I like love playing Trivial Pursuit at Christmas time. You know, one does. And then I always lose to my brother. He's much smarter than me, but I just try to get on the same team as him. And he knows all the sports facts. It's really not fair. I don't know any of the sports facts, and he'll just like know who coached this football team in like 1979. It's like, what the heck? How can I compete with that? I don't know anything about sports. Hashtag nerd. We're art nerds, right? I can give the, you know, the art lessons, all the art history I took in university for my degree that I don't use anymore. Yes. Okay. We got some trees. We're gonna need some more work on that. But let's move on. Sometimes if I get too caught up in one area, you know, it's not great. So we're gonna kind of move back here. Move back to this area because I think it needs the love. It needs love. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I might actually have a chance if I want to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? No. I've tried to play along to see how far I would get, and I don't get very far. I don't get very far, unfortunately. But I do love trivia. I love Jeopardy. Oh, you guys, we're having our first Photoshop meltdown, so it's decided it doesn't want to work. So I have to close it. I'm gonna save this as map crunch. Apologies. Ay ay ay. Freaking Photoshop. I knew this was gonna happen. Save. Okay. Close. File. Open recent. Map crunch. Here we go. View. And everyone gets to see how I set this up. Arrange. And that's the wrong order. Don't do it that way. Arrange. There we go. Okay, we're back. Photoshop. Okay. And now we get to reset and see, okay, how are we doing with this? Also, this seems like a good time to say, at Wing Canvas, our mission is to make art education easily accessible to everyone. Join us for free live stream lessons on YouTube every week and level up your skills with our community of art nerds. We're more than just a YouTube channel. We're an online school of illustration and visual storytelling dedicated to helping artists turn their passion into income. A huge shout out to our amazing students and members for supporting our mission. We love seeing your incredible artwork and watching you grow in our classes and weekly critiques. Want to dive deeper? Join our Discord to access stream notes and demos, exclusive artwork, art challenges, and more free resources to help you improve. Come connect with fellow art nerds and get inspired. And I realized that I gotta show this to you guys. Let's see, which one is it? It's my first time, I'm sorry. Go here, here's the Discord. Look at the perks, it's awesome. Come join us. Yes, yes. As Tom Nook would say, yes, yes, come join us. Okay, and back to the stream. And where did chat go? I almost had that really good. Okay. Join us, join the cult. No, it's not a cult, you can't say that. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Yes. Okay, what were we working on? We're working back here. We're working back here. There we go. We're back. Yes, we live Photoshop. I love Photoshop and I hate Photoshop. You know, Photoshop thought that I was still a student and sent me like an email and it was like, congratulations on graduating. You now have to pay us more money. So I was like, what? I also graduated in not recently, years ago. So that was a surprise to me. You know, I guess I'll, you know, take it if I was kind of taking money from them. And I was getting a good deal for a bit there, but alas, now I'm back to paying full price. Though, you know, I will say Photoshop, unfortunately, fortunately, whatever you want to think about it, it's the industry standard. So if any of you guys are wanting to work in animation specifically, it's industry standard for animation. So if you're interested in working in animation, unfortunately, Photoshop is not really a negotiable thing to learn. However, the skills that you can learn in Photoshop are easily like transcendent. Like I don't know, what's the word? Transferable. It's transferable skills with other art programs. So, you know, I wouldn't rush to spend a lot of money on it if you're kind of at the beginning of your journey. So that's kind of my advice. And when you do get a job in animation, which you will, you know, that's what you want, you get a job, you'll do it. I believe in you. You know, the company, if you're working for a company and all that stuff, like they will provide you with the subscription. So it's not like you have to bring it to the job. So just thought I'd say that. You know. Anyway. Oh, yes, you missed quite a bit, but thank you so much for the compliment. We're getting there. We got a long way to go. Let's see. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's only been 45 minutes, and look at us go. We are racing through this. Just kidding. Actually, Faye is the one who told me this, and I have been thinking about it ever since. When one of my first art classes, she said that the first 80% takes just as long as the last 20%. And so that's why, things go really fast at first, and then they kind of tend to slow down a bit. Okay, do I animate? I don't animate. I draw backgrounds, as I'm doing right now. So, come on, don't do this again to me, Photoshop. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, see what happens here is like, I get the mouse here, and it's not going to let me, not going to use a brush. So we're just going to do this again. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Hopefully it sorts itself out. I don't know. I might have to, Jesse had mentioned that maybe there's a glitch in the Photoshop program I'm using, but yes, I worked in animation, but not as an animator. I work as a background painter and layout artist, and at one point I designed backgrounds. Oop, don't tell me that. So I've kind of dabbled in everything related to backgrounds. I love backgrounds. So you can read more or not read. Well, I think there's a blog post, right? There's a blog post about me on the website, but you can learn more about me if you're interested through the conversation I had with Faye back in September. It should be in a video on the channel. So very fun stuff. That was a great conversation. It's great to be back. Yes, animation. Yeah, I did not go to school for animation specifically because it seemed like a lot of work. Animation is like, I was not interested in drawing a frame over and over and over again. It seemed really boring to me. I wanted to tell a full-fledged story in one image. I wanted to do children's books, I wanted to do comics, and that's actually what I went for school for. I went to school for illustration, and I specialized in children's books. And then when the pandemic happened, and I realized, oh, if I, work in children's books, I'm going to be working from my home alone, just an editor to sometimes talk to. That seemed like pretty boring, honestly. I wanted to work with a team, so then I started teaching myself Photoshop and digital skills again, and perspective and all that good stuff. And yeah, so that was like a brief summary of my journey that you can hear more about on the YouTube video. So right now I'm just like narrate what I'm doing, trying to figure out where my layers are. Dang it. I'm just kind of like adding some of this messiness here. There's like all this junk up in here. The background, yeah, you know what, you guys? I didn't think it would come together this fast. I think we're gonna make something. I think we're gonna have something to show by the end of this. I sure hope so. It'll be lovely. Okay, another good I like the idea of doing animation, but I think for an actual job I'd like to do comics. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you know what? Once you kind of get started in animation and you meet a lot of coworkers, everybody does everything. Like, it's insane. People are so talented, and you don't just start like right now I'm a background artist, but I've done some illustration stuff. People dabble in pretty much everything and are really good. Like, I know animators and background painters who I've worked with who've also done comic books and web comics, and they've also, signed with publishers. So you really don't have to pick one. Also, part of it is through necessity, because the job industry in animation is a little rocky, to be honest. And that's like the biggest issue that I have with the industry is the instability. But it allows you to do, your own thing all the time. I love being able to like flip between different projects, and I never feel like bored. Only when I'm unemployed for a year because there's no work. Also, you guys, I'm getting a little bit caught up. This is a mistake that I'm currently making right now. I'm getting caught up in some junk that I don't need to get caught up in. So we're gonna switch gears, and I'm gonna show you guys the beautiful grass brush. If I can find it. Where's the grass brush? Oh yes, my Charlie Brown-esque avatar. Spiky, tall grass, not the tall grass. The grass, where is it? This is the problem with having too many brushes. I'll find it, Get over here. Grass, oh, I just saw it. Here it is, grass. Grass, and this brush, it looks like this. Whoop. Oh, you can't really see it there because of the value, but it literally, look at that. So I just kind of throw that in. And this is why I like having, you can kind of see I'm like color picking from my own colors. And that is another nice thing about having kind of started with a bunch of these base colors, is that you don't have to like go and use the color wheel. I literally just color pick and then everything stays nice and cohesive. So see, look at that. It just is magic. It's the closest thing to magic I think we'll have here. I don't like that my opacity is at 99%. I don't know why that's... I like full opacity. 100% or nothing. Ugh. So that's a little, well, that's a little bit better. Yes. Yes. And then this area is gonna be really fun to do. I like with some nice grass. I'm gonna zoom back out again. I think I was getting a little too zoomed in. Like, look at that. You guys, isn't that fun? Oh, you can kind of create some like depth in here with the color picking, right? Like you can still see the dark grass, the shadows underneath. It's just, it's the wrong color. There we go. So nice. Does everyone create their own? Yeah, I created this guy. The wonderful Jessie showed me how. It was super fun to make, honestly. It's so easy to make. I really enjoyed making it, and I think it's, hopefully you guys think it's pretty cute, but I think it's pretty fun. Also, there's this brush, which is also nice. I like the tall brush, and that'll, you know, give us some more indication that like this grass has not been mowed in quite some time. So we'll do that. Yeah, so like there's some grass that's been mowed, some of it has not been mowed, you know. There's also grass here, like right at the edge of the house. It's kind of like this. So that's some good stuff. I think it's time to do a little bit of the oh, I kind of want to fix this thing here. This color is like not working for me. I think I was going to say something before. Here's like a big tip I have is if you want to spend like a short amount of time on like a study, the key to making it look finished still is to have everything rendered the same amount. So if you have like one item in your background or in your piece that's like really finished and really polished and really realistic, and then every other stuff that's just kind of like, meh, half done, still in the process, still like not quite up to snuff with the other piece, it's gonna look unfinished. But if everything is rendered the exact same, to the same degree, then you can get away with a lot of messiness. Yeah, a lot of messiness. It's a huge tip. It's a huge tip. Yeah, so in order to achieve that, like if you're a beginner and you're looking to achieve that kind of finished look, but maybe your rendering skills aren't where you want them to be, work across the canvas equally, kind of like I'm doing here. Like I'm doing a little bit here and there, and you can kind of see it slowly coming together. And we're going to get to the barn next, and I'll, you know, try to get that done pretty quickly with the same amount of time. But yeah, work across the board. Like don't just do one area and then move to another, you know, like, oh, I'm going to noodle at this. Oh, I'm going to noodle at this. Also, how crazy is it to zoom in? It's so crazy to zoom in. But yeah, that's like a huge tip. Like, honestly, one of my favorite tips. Work across the board. Do not get focused on one area. Yeah. Okay, I think it's let's see. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. What do you say? I think we blocked it out okay. We're gonna use this color. We're gonna use the marker. Yeah, the marker's fine. Do you guys know how to do this tip? Like, you know, make a straight line in Photoshop like that? I learned it kind of late, but if you just hold shift, like tap, hold shift, and then tap, it creates a straight line. So, and if you didn't know, now you know. So, wow. See, isn't that crazy? Like, this looks blue, and then I touch it, and it's like green. Well, it's gray, but it looks green. Yes. Oh, thank you for enjoying the stream. I really appreciate you guys being here. I was so nervous to start, but honestly, I'm having a great time. Also, look at that. There's color jitter in this. All right. I didn't know that there's color jitter in this brush, but I don't really think I want color jitter in this brush. Well, let's turn that off. Yeah, we'll turn that off. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you for being here, everybody. I say as I get too zoomed in again. So we're gonna just add really light, like you see that this just kind of has some really light kind of variation. We're just gonna kind of add that in, and this is a good time to kind of do this with like your eyes kind of squinty, a little bit squinty. And then here's a tip for lots of tips being dropped this stream. If you kind of like, let's say this is my shadow color, right? And you want like an in-between color here without having to like go to this color wheel. If you just drop your opacity and then you draw, you'll get kind of like a color in between. And so then I just steal from that, and then I kind of have like in between. Fortunately, 40% is like not the good opacity that I like. But you can kind of get some in between colors, help you with the transition. And then we also need to go darker though here. This is quite dark actually. I'm trying to keep this like pretty like not really soft transitions, like keep it pretty, you know, what's the word, you guys? What's the word? It's hard to think and draw at the same time. But I like using, like, I don't want it to be soft, right? Like, I just want everything to be, like, hard brush. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, like that. So, that's that tip. We're just gonna see how we noodle at this barn a little bit, hopefully. Yeah, see, that's already kind of, oh, no, it happened again. It happens when I zoom out too fast, I think. Ay. My poor PC. It should be like strong enough to do this though, so I don't understand why it keeps hating me. Maybe I should learn Clip Studio, you guys. Yes, hard edge. I'm trying to get everything with hard edge. That's what I want. That's what I want. We like hard edges in this house. The problem that I see a lot of people who use kind of, and I used to be guilty of this, and this is just like one of those things that you have to like learn and you just have to overcome with, you know, practice. Is hard brushes are really uncomfortable because you don't have as much control. So it's really uncomfortable if you're a beginner to use a hard brush because, yeah, it feels like you have to make a decision, and that's scary. Like making decisions and being like really sure about what you're putting down on the page. It's kind of scary. So soft brushes allow us to, you know, not make decisions, but then because you don't make a decision, everything kind of, people can tell if you know, if it looks like you're not committing to something. Oh, is it due to storage? You know, maybe. My PC is not old. It's like 2 years, 3 years old, but like it's kind of decked out with the specs. Like I asked them to give me good specs. Also, why is this over top? Get out of here. I got like really good specs because I do Blender and stuff as well sometimes. So I don't really know why it's doing this. I really just think Photoshop sucks sometimes. And we're just gonna add these details in here. Yeah, right. I got someone to build it for me. Shout out to, I can't remember the name of the company. He's a Toronto guy, and he just does it as a hobby, and it's like it was a really good deal. So I was like, just give me everything, you know? Because I had like a super old Mac that was just on its last legs. Oh boy, that poor Mac suffered in its last few years with me. What I'm gonna do, let's see. I'm just gonna move these guys over because I just don't really like the kind of tangent they're making. Yeah. You know what? You're so right. Adobe will always make you feel like you're using a 10-year-old laptop. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. Yep. Nailed that one. Okay, I'm really excited to paint the roof of this place. I'm really excited. Because I get to show you more brushes that I like. So let's get into it. Let's do it. I'll show you another tip. So if you just want to select, like you've got all these clipping masks, and obviously you can't clip something to a clipping mask, but you still want to just select the area. If you do, yeah, you click Control and you tap the layer, it'll just select the layer. So now I can paint just on this very easily. So lovely. So when I do roofs like this kind of, it's got these lines in it. I'm obviously not gonna, like, we're smart, right? We're smart artists. We're not gonna go in and paint every single line. So what we're gonna do is just do this. Look at that. You can change the size. We should probably keep it the same size. Oop, don't look. Don't look. I don't know what I've got open. But yeah. Yeah, Photoshop is being a diva. For sure. She is a little diva. I think, well, I don't know what gender Photoshop is. We don't need to humanize Photoshop. Photoshop doesn't deserve that. Too many issues. Yes. Okay, so like, look, it's already like a roof, right? Pretty good roof. So I'm gonna go back in, and there's obviously like dark spots, so we're gonna, eventually this will look like better. Like I know we're getting there. Ooh. And we're keeping this nice and loose. I actually think I'm gonna do this in a new layer. Oop. Clip it, clip it. And okay, so like we got a couple in there. I love the gold, the kind of like rusty, kind of almost looks gold. Just do that. And then what I'm gonna do is get, maybe what would be a good brush for this? Maybe, yeah, this guy is a good brush. And don't zoom in, Kelsey, it's bad. Just gonna, oh, actually you can't see that. Sometimes I am just like figuring it out as I go. So I'm like, okay, how do I create this texture that's like under here? Don't humanize. Yeah, don't feel anything for these companies. So humanize technology, guys. That's what they want us to do. That's what they want from us. There. See, like now we're getting some texture, and then what I'm gonna do from there. Like sometimes I just think, sorry, I was getting on a tangent there. My mind goes like a million miles an hour when I'm trying to explain what I'm doing because I have many different thoughts happening at the same time. So it's a little difficult. This is like, shout out to all the amazing instructors in Canvas for doing this all the time because it's really hard. It's really hard, you guys. I appreciate all your wonderful instructors here. What I'm going to do is go back to this guy, the rake, and I'm gonna just kind of like erase. Let's see if this works. Erase into this. Yeah, okay, I think that kind of works. And then we gotta delete in this. Why are you? What did I just click? Oh, it's decided to play sound for me for some reason when I'm clicking these buttons. Oh, thank you for liking the texture. Yeah, not bad, not bad. I think I'll show you how to give it the oomph. Like, I think we're so close, and I'm going to show you here how to give it that oomph. And the key is to add in like the most important details to give it that character. So for me, like the texture that I think is most important are these like dark lines here that kind of make it feel like it's breaking, right? So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of extra shadow, just add that, well, the right layer. Just add that. Like, I don't think you should add these details everywhere, but just like pinpoint the ones that, you know, I think are most useful to like getting the point across. I'm gonna create a new layer. I'm also, why are we at 59%? No, we want full opacity, full opacity. And I also like, I'm gonna zoom in just to show you guys, like this, you see that kind of texture here and this texture, like that tells a lot, right? So that tells a lot about what kind of material this is as well. So just kind of, let's see the best way to do this. Maybe it's on this layer. I'm zooming in too much. Oh, thank you for saying that. We're getting there. Let's see, time check. Oh my gosh, we have an hour left. Oh, we have an hour left. I don't think I've ever worked this fast in my life. This is pretty good. So I'm just gonna kind of add, doesn't have to be perfect, just like some squiggles here. And then, like the beautiful thing about this kind of painting is like the reference is super rough, right? Moody. And so we get to be rough and moody. We get to be super moody. Yeah, so there you go. So now we got a little bit of that edge, that shadow there. And we're gonna do that again on this edge here. So I'm actually gonna go back to, where is it? Yeah, this guy. We're gonna go back to the source because I don't, actually, I really like, do you see I created this kind of edge, like this, it doesn't perfectly, it's not perfectly aligned this way. And I actually think that is really nice thing that I did not on purpose because it kind of makes it feel like it's different pieces of tin that, you know, that are kind of connected and old, and it just adds to that vibe. So, yes. Oh, you freak out on a time limit? Well, you know, I'm kind of used to time limits in my work, so I feel like a little better about it. But yeah, it's hard to draw on a time limit, but I think like I've given you guys some good tips, and I'm trying to like live by the tips that I've been giving you of how to, you know, work efficiently. So I'm just pulling out all the stops for you guys to try to do that. Yes, so this is what I'm doing. I'm just literally, I'm probably too zoomed in still, but I think that it's okay. We're gonna keep this rough. Just erase these kind of divots here. I'm gonna have to do it on other layers as well. Erase these divots, and then like already, like you can get the vibe of the material. Like that's what we want. We just want the vibe of the material. It's all about the vibe. Like look at, guys. Ooh, we're cooking. We're cooking. That looks nice, I think. If I do say so myself. Also, half the time I do quote just like random vines and memes, so I'm sorry if you hear that from me. And then we add another edge here because it's kind of catching a little highlight at the bottom. There's a shadow there, but there's some highlight, so we're just gonna like catch the edge. Edges are awesome for like making things look finished. That's nice. Yeah, thank you for getting me. Yes. And we're gonna add some of these. Just, yeah. It's pretty good for the roof. I think we're gonna just grab this piece, and it's got some nice texture. We're just gonna slap on some texture. Just slap it on. We love texture. Also, what mistake am I making right now? I'm too zoomed in. It is hard sometimes. Like, it's tempting, especially when you're working on smaller areas. Like, I sometimes give myself a little more space to work with here. So we're gonna just fix this kind of interior spot here. I think we can make it a little darker. And I'm just gonna grab, like, every time I kind of grab a new brush, I'm thinking about, or every time I'm kind of like painting a new texture, I'm thinking about what is the most efficient way to paint it. And I look at my arsenal of tools, right? And what kind of brushes I have, and I try to figure out, you know, what do I think is the best tool for the job. Maybe, you know, it would be really fun to eventually, I don't know what my stream future looks like here, but it would be really fun to show you guys also how you can achieve the same painting with one texture, like no, just one brush, none of this fancy, you know, stuff that I'm kind of doing here, but just one, because it's possible and I've done it before, and it's a really fun challenge as well. So yes, I love erasing into things as well, Faye. It's super satisfying. Let's see. Something's going on here that I don't like, so I have to figure out how to fix it. I think that what I have to do is go back to this. Yeah. Oh, you guys do all the non-fancy default brush stuff. That's good. Then you guys have everything you need to be wonderful artists from all the teachers. Yes. Sometimes I just use, if I do use one brush, that's better. If I use one brush, I'll show you what it would be. It would be this block brush. It's literally, I'll show you what it is. It's just this. And then you can add, you know, this, it's got some texture, but it's also, you know, pretty standard. I also love, I think we have a little bit of time for me to show you this. I love flat brushes. So like that. Those are my kind of favorite ones. Yes. Yes, you collect, honestly, that's the best way to do it, is collect all the tools from many masters. That's awesome. Awesome resources over here at Wing Canvas. So I think we got to finish off this last guy. And it's kind of, I'm kind of fed the perspective a little bit on this. So I'm going to try to fix it so there's no tangents here. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna work on this a little bit more, actually. Honestly, just slap that in there. That's better. Okay. A little bit better. It's fine. It's fine for now. Sometimes it's fine for now. You'll use 4 default brushes in the first. Honestly, that's a great way to start. Brushes can be really overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of brushes that I've saved. So I think that it's really smart to just kind of have the go-tos, and like, just most artists that I know can do can really do anything with just a few brushes. Brushes are just for funsies, you know, just for fun, and just achieve different effects. And yeah, you really don't need them, you know. Who is one of my favorite artists is, their name is Deb Lee, I think. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look this up after. I have some of their prints, and they're just so wonderful. And they use just really basic everything in Procreate on like 2 layers is absolutely insane, and the way that their process works. And this is not right. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this. Bear with me. Don't zoom in like this. I just need to get that layer. So if you guys want to find, we're switching topics. Deb Lee, I think, is their name, and they're awesome. Anyway, if you want to find the center point on an object, it's pretty easy. You just create an X, and then so it's like kind of like that. I know the perspective on this is fudged. Forgive me, but it's like, it's wonk, right? It's wonk. Don't use that as an excuse normally, but we're going with the wonk, and it's based in enough reality that we're fine. Yes. So, I'm gonna have to, is that who I'm talking about? It's probably who I'm talking about. No, that's, is that who I'm talking about? Yes, that's who I'm talking about. That's exactly who I'm talking about. Thank you for posting that. They're so good, and they were at a convention that I went to, like a comic fair I went to, and I got to meet them and buy some beautiful prints. They do so much amazing Ghibli fan art as well, and just own their own personal fan art. So good. Those kind of people that make me feel like I have so far to go as an artist as well. I mean, the journey never ends, right? Yeah. The art is so gorge. I think they have some, I don't know. I would love to, you know, learn from them one day as well. That's the thing, is we just keep learning as artists. We never really, oh, I'm too zoomed in, you guys. I'm too zoomed in. And the learning never ends. So, you know, pace yourself is kind of another piece of advice. Pace yourself to keep learning for the rest of your life. Yeah. And now I'm just kind of gonna, this is like wood texture, so we're just gonna kind of see the best way to do this. Maybe something like this. We'll create a fun texture. Let's see. Scribble it. Scribble. Eventually I am going to move away from this barn, but I do think that it's going to make everything fall into place a little bit. So maybe this isn't the right brush for me though. Just see. It's not terrible, but could be better. Could be better. Let's see. How's the music going, you guys? I wish I could figure out how to hear it on my end. But I'm too scared to touch anything on OBS. So I'm just sitting in silence. Concentrating so hard. Is there not music? Oh my gosh. Should I turn it up for you guys? Okay. Can you hear the music now? Is that better? So that I don't, you know, awkwardly sitting in silence if I forget to talk. Oh yeah, are you guys drawing along with me? I think that I forgot to mention that. That's what I forgot to mention, is that there is the image I'm referencing. You can hear some beats now. Okay, should I turn it up a little bit more? Sorry, guys. Is that better? I just don't want it to overpower me, but also I feel like it'd be nice for you guys to have in the background. It's not a big deal for you? Okay, that's nice. Oh, I'm sorry that you're feeling sick. Hope you feel better soon. Yeah, feel free to you know, watch the stream again later and follow along on your own time. Yes, thank you, Kevin, for posting the reference again. Also, you can like feel free to use these kind of techniques and find your own reference. You know, paint what you want to paint. But these are some, you know, great studies to do to get accustomed to different, you know, types of trees, different places on Earth, different types of nature, different time of year, all that good stuff. Oh, congrats on working on your assignment. What a good student. What a good student. We'd love to hear that. Doing your homework. I'm just doing a little bit of shadows here because that kind of makes things just look a little bit more finished. Yeah. I'm zooming in a little too much. I actually don't really love how this door is looking. I just think I noodled too much, you guys. I noodled too much. So let's just, sometimes if I feel like there's too much texture, I'll just go in with like a different brush and just kind of try to paint it out. That's honestly, I like that better already. And then we'll go and do this little X. Oh, James Jones study. Nice. Portrait studies. I should do more of that kind of stuff, you guys. But I love backgrounds so much. What a good student. Yes. Backgrounds are great. I did some background studies with Faye when I was a student. We did like, I'm trying to remember all the stuff we did. I did a lot of still lifes. And then I did like a bus study, right? Yeah. And we did a lot of still lifes, a lot of prep for my art program that I went into. And then Faye really, really helped me out by helping to, I think you gave me like frames, or you helped me frame some stuff for my art show. And at that art show, I ended up winning Best Traditional Media Award, so that was super awesome. Yes, we did traditional. Yeah, we did a lot of traditional oil and acrylic. That was it. I'm a late bloomer when it comes to digital painting. All right, how's that? There. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get back. Let's get back to the dirt, you guys. Back to the dirt. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so long ago, honestly, and I don't even do that kind of I don't really do that kind of work anymore, which I should get back into it. Yeah, I'm doing some traveling next year, and I would love to do plain air painting. Yes, let's get into the dirt. The dirt. Okay, so I want to do this dirt patch here. I honestly think the main things I need to tackle still in our last 40 minutes. Oh my gosh, I want to kind of get this road looking a little better, add some more texture here, maybe some more things with the trees and these posts, and yeah. And then, oh, there's a little building here. Let's just do that right now. I think that'll be nice. We'll do this little building here. Wrong brush. This rough brush. I think this is maybe a bit more red. Yeah, so we really are staying within this color palette here. Too light. And honestly, I'm just gonna block that there, and we'll get back to that. Let's get into the dirt, like I said. And why I want to turn color dynamics off. It's easier to go from traditional to digital than the other way around. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think I agree with that. That's a good take. Yeah, because, you know, if you can do traditional, then you discover the undo tool and you're like, oh my gosh, why doesn't this exist in real life? And then you start, does anyone like accidentally, if they go from digital to traditional, they start like tapping, especially when I went from Procreate to traditional, start like tapping on the paper and trying to zoom in. That's always great. The only traditional medium you enjoy is knitting. I wish I could knit. That's pretty cool. It's really great to have other hobbies, artistic hobbies as well. I like cooking, and I actually did a sewing class a while ago. That was really fun. I like these like bursts of orange and these pumpkins back here. I know I don't quite have these trees should come down more. So I'm just kind of gonna noodle. Try not to noodle too much, but I think I might just like make some noodly adjustments to fit the composition better, or fit the reference better. Some orange. We've got some, let's see. Let's get a darker brown back here. Knitting is, yeah, you know what, my sister crochets. She's an amazing crocheter. She's actually crocheting me a sweater, and I think that's pretty insane that you can just make a sweater. So that's, you know, I'm impressed. Okay, I'm gonna grab this, and we're gonna indicate some of those lines there. Just indicate some more dirt, kind of like it's been raked a little bit. Oh, thank you for liking this. I appreciate it. We're getting there, you guys. I'm trying to finish for you guys. I'm trying to get as much done as I can. So I don't like how much texture there is here. I just feel like it's drawing a lot of attention. So I'm gonna kind of paint some of it out a little bit and see what we can do. We are getting down to the wire a little. I probably won't finish as much as I want, but I think we're like making pretty good. I think we're gonna have a decent piece of end of this, I think. Hopefully you guys are learning something. Have you guys learned anything? I hope there's some nuggets of information in here. Yeah. Yeah, you know, that's like one of the reasons I haven't crocheted is because of the hand stuff. It can be, yeah. You gotta protect. I'm doing so much already with drawing and all that stuff that you really don't want to risk anything happening to your wonderful hands. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are learning. It makes me so happy. Let's switch over to a new brush, huh? Should we go maybe some of this? Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. A good one. I like that texture. And then you see those like kind of little nuggets of highlight, like kind of like the rock coming through. Not the right brush. Let's see. There's a really cool brush in here. Which one is it? Maybe it's just this foliage. Maybe it's just this one. Oh, I like that. Yeah, let's just pop in some of that, and that's working a bit better to me. I don't like this grass though. It kind of feels like it's floating. Like it doesn't feel like it works. So we're gonna fix that. Back to the grass. If I can find it. Back to the grass. There we are. Made you more aware of how texturing can work. Yeah. I'm glad that you're learning more about texturing. It's super fun when you kind of feel like you are in control. It's so easy to yeah, kind of lose the control and let it get away from you. So I'm glad that you're taking that away from this stream. I love texture too. So it is fun to like experiment and play with just kind of using basic brushes though. I know some artists who have been like some really famous ones on like big followings on Instagram and stuff, and all they get asked is what brush do you use, because some people think that's like what makes or breaks artists, you know, like that's how they can draw like you, is if they just use the same brush as you. And they just recommend that they use like, I don't know, they almost like create a brush with text in it and they just start painting with that to prove that they can paint with anything. So, you know, props to them for their crazy art skills. Okay. Jesse gets that brush question so much. Yeah, that's why I started with the answer, so you guys don't have to ask me. I use Mike McCain's brushes, and I love them. And they're like 90% of what I use. And he's got stuff for Photoshop too, if you guys, or not Photoshop, sorry, obviously I'm using Photoshop. Procreate. He's got some stuff for Procreate as well. So if you guys like Apple Procreate users, his brushes there are awesome as well. I used to exclusively use Procreate. I don't know how I feel about it these days. I think it's a great program. I think the company's awesome. Oh yeah, not sponsored. Mike McCain's just an awesome artist. He's worked on some amazing projects. Yeah, the brush you use really, you're right, the brush you use really doesn't matter. It does, like, I think it matters in, you know, if I know I'm using the right brush. Like sometimes, I don't know if I've ever gotten that feeling where you just feel like, this brush is just not doing what I want it to do today. And so I think it is important to find what brush works for you. But, you know, if you feel like you want to become a better artist and you're like, well, if I just find the right brush, then I'll be a better artist. That's not how it works. So it's kind of, it's important, but it's not the end of the world. Like it's not make it or break it for, you know, you won't suddenly be good at art if you have the right brush. That makes sense. So I've kind of, maybe I'm not doing the right thing here, but you never really know until you're over. But I'm kind of just going through and adding a couple details. Just like to make it feel like it's sitting in space and like realism a little bit better. So we got a little shadow here. I'm kind of just trying to clean up a couple things here and there, and we'll see like this pretty much take us to the end. Let's see. Yeah, we got 30 minutes, so this will take us to the end, and I'll just see how far we can get this thing done, see how much we can get done. And then I will share it with you guys, and maybe I'll keep working on it and share like how it would look when it's actually finished. We'll see. I do like this painting. I do like I like the one you guys picked. This is a pretty fun one. Also, we'll see if we have time at the end for me to show you gradient maps, because sometimes I like to throw those on to kind of adjust the color, push the color a little bit. And let's see, I'm kind of just trying to indicate there's a bunch of stuff here as well. So maybe we'll do some mounds. How's that? It's a good mound. The pen is mightier than the sword, but the skill is mightier than the brush. Wow. That's some dropping some truths on us. Yep. You know, when I first started drawing, all I used was the crappy printer paper and whatever, you know, school pencil I had. Like, that's how we all start, right? Like, I just drew like that forever. I kind of was, yeah, not very open about drawing. I didn't like to show anybody. So I just kind of did it in my room. And then if I made something that I felt was good enough to show my parents, then I'd show them, and they were like, this is what you've been doing this whole time? What the heck? We didn't know you like this stuff. So, you know. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you use, as long as you got the love. Okay, more dirt time. What am I doing next stream? Next stream, Kelsey will be drawing every single frame recorded in Math Crunch. Honestly, that would be a challenge. Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of see what I can do to indicate more stuff in here, like this nice dirt. I like this brush for edges because it's kind of I like that texture. I think I'm not, let's see, I'm not digging what's happening right here. Oh, every time someone goes silent in the stream. Yeah, I sometimes might go silent because there's a lot of concentration to do this. But I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time with you guys. It's fun. It's super fun. And I haven't actually done a painting like this. I think I said this before, but yeah, I haven't done a painting like this in a long time. So I'm kind of learning a lot as well, going through this with you guys. Also, sometimes when I paint kind of just on my own, more casually, I'll have references to, oh, did I just like move everything over? I did, didn't I? Like, why is that? Why is it like that? Okay. There we go. Oh well, I kind of like the orange bleeding through. Oh well. What happened? It's rough. It's rough. It's fine. It's just a study. And the study's not precious. It shouldn't be like precious, right? Like you do it and then you finish and then you are done. And, you know, you can revisit it later, but I think it's more productive to just move on and keep doing more studies. Yeah. Keep on keeping on. I love this brush as well. Just showing you some more. And then these nice crafts. I think we are like good on texture, if I'm being honest. We've kind of gone a little overboard in some areas. So I'm gonna keep the texture. Try to limit myself a little bit. The ground's starting to look wet. Okay. Well, we'll see how it turns out. I don't know if that's a good thing. We'll see. I'm just trying to, I'm gonna add in some of those like rocks kind of later, but I like the kind of lines that show maybe something's driven through here. Right? Like that. And this stream is very time zone friendly for you. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you could join us. Oh, it's a good thing. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not saying, you know, if I'm not saying it was like you were saying it was a bad thing. It's more like, is that my intention? And if that isn't my intention, how do I fix it? But I don't think it's a bad thing. I'll just get back to the classic brush here. Let's see what we can do about this dirt road. Oh, that's actually the perfect color. I didn't even mean to do that. Yes, we're glad. Okay, we're glad. And the edges of the road are like darker, so honestly, there's been times where I've kind of painted these studies and I can like noodle one area forever until I get it right. So it's really tricky to try to get this right on the first time. It's really challenging. Like I am, yeah, this is a part where you guys get to see me struggle a little bit. I'm struggling. We're gonna get there though. The key is to zoom out. Zoom out. Okay. Now that we're back out. Oh, honestly, it looks better zoomed out. A bit better zoomed out. Oh yeah, it's been you know, using a tractors gone through it. That is good. That is what I'm going for. I'm gonna make a new layer because I think I kind of want to do this. Just kind of, yeah. Get in there. I'm just feeling the time crunch. I'm glad you guys have music now to listen to as I try to see what I can do to finish this bad boy. It does look better zoomed out. I know it always does. It always does. I was a bad artist there. It's too zoomed in. Too zoomed in. That just shows like you're gonna keep making mistakes, you know? And you just gotta keep repeating. You gotta keep repeating the mantra. Start big. Get to small. You know, start big, medium, small, right? And stay zoomed out. Oh, thank you for saying that it looks like the reference. I'm glad you see the resemblance. I was kind of scared when I was signing up for this stream. I was like, oh, I'll do a math crunch study. Those are not too bad, but you know, they're tough. They're really tough. So some more alterations I'm gonna do. I just want it to be a bit lighter back here. Some atmospheric perspective. Anybody? Anybody? Love that atmospheric perspective. Honestly, I did this mountain, I did the sky, and I like haven't touched it from the beginning, and I do think it kind of works. Because I don't think it's the most important part of this background. So let's see what else we can do before time check. 20 minutes. I'm just trying to see if I can get this whole thing looking done. Yeah. Because there's also this whole, like, you can't really see it, but there is a fence here. I think that, unfortunately, we're ignoring the fence. Ignoring the fence. We don't have time for that. You got this, thank you. As we move back, we get lighter, so let's just do that, and then let's see. Here's, in this photograph, you know, you see at the top here as it meets the kind of sky, it hits the sky, it's like darker, so like that's like a really good little thing we can do to get this guy. Whoops. Getting a bit better. I think it's also a little bit warm. It's kind of more neutral, I think. Let's noodle with this. Noodle, noodle. Love that word. It's the word of the stream, noodle. Yeah, it's a bit better. Yeah, and then I'll one of the last things I'll probably do is add those wires. Yeah, also you can tell I'm like forgetting basic English words. I gotta get this done. Speed of an artist. Honestly, this back area is looking okay. Here's the thing that I don't like how clean this line is, I'm being honest. So let's see. Not you think you'd be done at this stage? No, we're not done. We're not done. There's more to do. So whisper some of those have gone over the time limit, so I don't think it's a big deal for you. Okay, well, we'll see. You know, I got some things I kind of want to show you guys at the end. We'll see. Thanks for the tidbit info. But yeah, I'm trying to keep the painting part because, you know, I want to say goodbye and have a good sign off and everything like that. So, you know, there's a lot of things, like you could spend forever doing a painting like this. So I'm trying to show you guys 2 hours is honestly a pretty good amount of time for a study. Like, it might be, like, I think that's a pretty good time. If you guys are just starting, you should probably try to, like, I think it's, to a degree, there's some quantity over quality. Like, I do think quality is good, but I think when you're starting, you really just need to just draw a lot. Study things, you know, if they're bad, just throw them away. You know, don't be precious. Don't be precious about your art at the beginning. Even now, I'm not too precious about anything. Like, if you do get too precious, it's hard to improve and kind of, you know, throw things away when they're not needed anymore. Like, I had to delete a lot of old, well, not delete, but I removed a lot of art that I was really, really proud of from my portfolio just because it wasn't, like, I was connected to it because I remember the feeling of how good it was when I did it. It was like the best thing I'd ever made. But it wasn't the best thing at that point for my portfolio. So people were like, yeah, get rid of that. And I was like, what? But I worked so hard on that. I thought it was so good. And they're like, well, it looks like you did a couple years ago and it's kind of old now. And they're right, you know? So, you know, try your hardest on your assignments, right? But, like, work hard on your assignments, be focused, but once you're finished the assignment, move on. Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Move on to your next assignment and try to do it better. It's kind of the vibe. Okay, I'm actually, guys, we're getting there. Sometimes I feel like I'm like black out a little bit and I just draw from the heart. Draw from the heart. I don't know. Just make the decisions. I've done this a lot, you guys, too. So sometimes I really don't have to think about certain decisions I make. It's just kind of like, to me, like, oh yeah, well, that's just what you do because I've done this before. So that's just, you know, eventually that's kind of the point you get to. So I'm trying to work really hard to figure out like how to explain exactly what I'm doing. It's stuff. Okay, I'm gonna take a little moment to look really hard, and see like really what I can adjust for this end of stream. Okay, no, I'm using my pen, guys. I stopped using my mouse. Maybe that's a new challenge. Just use your pen or use your mouse. No, I started using my pen again. So, yeah. Sorry for fibbing there, or not telling you guys. I just used my mouse at the beginning. I'm actually like recovering from some shoulder stuff. It took like 2 years, and so this is actually one of the first times I've been drawing for this long, and I really feel good. So I'm really happy about that. I was kind of nervous that my shoulder would not hold up, so I'm super happy. Okay, I think, wow, you guys, we're almost done. How did I do that? We're almost done. What the heck? I think we can do it. Just ignore. Look at that. I love zooming in. It's like, what is that? And then you zoom out and you're like, oh, okay. Kind of works. Do I ever adjust the color after your sketch just for fun? Yeah. I do for funsies, yes. I love using sometimes when I'm like completely finished with work, I will adjust the color just to see like gradient maps, like how things will work. Okay, why is this not doing it? Oh, because I have the wrong color. There we go. Yeah, I do like to play around with that. So I know I'm zoomed in right now, but I just really need to get that in the right spot. I love using gradient maps and playing around with how those might affect things. So right now what I'm doing is just trying to like pinpoint what areas should probably be adjusted before we call it today. I think we can do more with these trees. I kind of just threw them in and called it for a sec and moved on. I also think this area back here isn't quite like in the reference, but I also think that area is not that important. So maybe we'll just kind of do a little this, a little that, slap some stuff in there, and then because there is like a roof back here, and I kind of like the idea that there's more buildings back there, but I just think for the purpose of what we're doing here, I think the trees are more interesting. So we're gonna do that. Because right now I literally just put in one color for the tree. There's no, and if you look at this, there's like some level of tone. Yeah, look at that beautiful orange house back there. We're gonna ignore it. We can elect to ignore stuff sometimes. If it's not important, you can say, no thank you. Not today. Which one's the reference? Oh my gosh, stop, you flatter me too much. You're too flattering. I think you can tell. But that's kind of the point, and I think like this exercise, sometimes I don't want it to look like a paint, like I don't want it to look like a photo. I do like when it looks like a painting with its own texture and stuff, so yeah. Let's just see what we can do about these branches. I think we can make them shine. So, can you guys hear how fast I'm like tippy tapping on my keyboard? We gotta finish. I'm gonna try something. and we're gonna see how it works, okay? I don't know how this is gonna go. But just trust, maybe. I don't know. I did it on its own layer so I can delete it if it looks bad. But I'm just like, this is me in my desperation to see maybe if this works. Could be good. Could be good. That one's not good. Keyboard sound doesn't bother you? Okay, good. I have a very clicky keyboard. Okay, that kind of worked. That kind of worked. I'm just gonna indicate there's trees here, tree stuff happening. right? Tree stuff, branches. Just add a little more volume to that, to the tree. And then something I do want to do is one thing that's bothering me, the sky and some of the stuff that hits the sky is when you take a picture of something like this, the kind of blue, I don't really know the science, but the blue kind of is in the tree, and that's just like the way we see it. And in mine, it's like very warm. So I kind of want to add the cools back in here. So I actually might go to actually grab the blue color. I think that would help us out here as we kind of finish up with our last few things. We'll get the atmosphere brush. Yeah. That's better. I like that. I like that a lot. Honestly, I think keyboard sounds are kind of ASMR-y. You want to agree? That's better. I want some of this light like hitting that comes through here. Are you guys, anyone following along? I'm so curious. Do you think anyone is going to be, or any of you guys going to be trying your own Map Crunch studies after this? Have I inspired you? Take the plunge and do these studies. Super fun. They're my favorite. Yeah, keyboards can be really satisfying. Okay. We're gonna leave, okay, I think that's okay adjustment on the sky. I think that's actually helping it a lot. And now I'm gonna adjust the trees. So I know I did the trees in a lot of layers, so we'll kind of see. Let's see how I do this. You like to try to draw a background now? Oh my gosh. That makes me so happy. Backgrounds are my fave. So we're gonna go darker and we're gonna go way cooler. And we're just gonna do that. And then, oh, I just need to zoom in to make sure I'm actually doing this on the right layer because I accidentally made a billion layers for these trees and I gotta click the right one. Click the right one. And then I'm gonna go like take that blue. So if I go to my swatches, I can see the previous colors that I've used. So I'm gonna take that kind of blue that I did before. Just throw it on there. It kind of feels like it's more in the scene. Oops. Oops. Honestly, I kind of want to take more time on these trees, but we'll see. I love drawing trees, and I wish I could give them all the love they deserve. You want to do a forest landscape instead? Lovely. Lovely. You can always pick your own Map Crunch location. I posted like a couple in the poll, and I honestly would have been happy to do any of them. They would have been super fun locations. But I've had a blast doing this one. I don't like this stray branch. Whoops, what did I do? This stray branch is bothering me. Yeah, that's feeling a little better. I think though that it kind of drew too much attention to this tree, so let's see. We got less than 10 minutes. I didn't even do any of this stuff here. Oh well. That's what it is. It's been super fun painting with you guys. We're still going, but yeah, I'm gonna try to see what I can get wrapped up here. Oh yeah, that's nice. Let's see if I can. Is there anything I like significantly missed? I don't think. Like honestly, I think that we're pretty good on. I kind of wish I could do more in here, like kind of add some more. We'll do this quickly. Do it quickly. there's like the darks in here are darker than what I have, just to show that there's things hitting each other and all that good stuff. Some darker browns. And this is what I would kind of do at the end, is just go and touch this stuff up. So let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I think we hit everything. Speaking, okay, sorry, I'm trying to read through comments a bit. Speaking of which, I did that once with a bunch of different references. I should put, yeah, you should post your art in the server, for sure. For sure. It's great to use all different references. If you want to like create your own background, like I think that doing stuff like this, oops, I hate that hotkey. Is great. Like obviously using references is great. But if you want to create your own background, make sure you find a bunch of references to go off of. And then eventually you can, you know, do stuff from your head, but it takes a while. Even professional artists like who do biz dev and all that stuff, they still find real world references for all their locations. Let's just add some more. Oh yeah, there we go. More tree branches. Just get some areas have like more stuff going on than others. We're getting there. It's so hard to call it quits. It's so hard to just say, okay, I'm done. Because it's like, no, there's something this, is this, is this, is this. Ah, I could do this forever. I could do this truly forever. And ever and ever, and I'd be so happy doing it. Whoops, get out of here. I don't know about you guys. Just gonna add a little bit more stuff in here. I want to delete some out. We're getting there. And then I just think that this brush is pinging for me. Because we're pinging to be like when something is standing out a little too much. I just want to taper it a little. Taper it a little bit and then grab what I just did and maybe make it a little bit more of this blue. What are we thinking? I think we're almost like, what's the last stroke? The last little bit of this painting. Thanks for following along with the journey, everybody. I think Kelsey cooked a big pot of art. Oh, I love cooking. I love cooking art and I love food. Yeah. Just getting some more of this blue here. Okay, so we're calling it. I am going to show you one thing because it is, I got 2 kind of minutes for the official kind of end when we're supposed to wrap up. Also, here's the sketch that we started with. It's pretty fun. I am going to quickly show you how I might play around with. Here's my last step, actually. This is the last step that I do to kind of add some spice. Is I kind of take an orange and I take like the base color that I had and I take one of these guys and I just kind of add some fun little specks. I think this is 90%. I was going to say this doesn't quite feel right. Oh. And I just kind of like to add a couple. So you can't really see them, but they're there, you know. Like that. Yeah, kind of like that. And then, that's twice time. Yeah, and then that's kind of, I don't usually use this brush for it, actually. I use the flex. I add some, like, flex. There's too many. Yeah, so something like that, you know, just a little spice here and there. And then what I can do is go into here and grab a gradient map And so if I wanted to push things around, where's my gradient map? Here we go. Let's say I kind of want this to be like warmer, so maybe I'll grab like, what do you think would be an interesting one? We'll do one like this, but I do want to reverse it. Yeah, so like maybe something like that, and then you turn it down like crazy, and then you can set it to, usually it would be like overlay, and it's just like a little something to add more warmth. And what I will also do is don't rely on these too much, because what it tends to do is, especially if you use like an orange overlay, it'll make all of your shadows orange as well, which is not good, because we want like cool and warm and all that good stuff. So then I'll just kind of grab a soft brush, like this atmosphere brush, and I'll go into the layer mask, and I'll just kind of like anywhere that's supposed to be kind of cool, like I might paint out a little to keep some of that in the background. So actually, yeah, I kind of like that warmth. And then I might, you know, hue sat it a little if I want a little more saturation, something like that. And then you can kind of toggle it on and off like that. You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, there it is. And I think we did a pretty good job, if I don't say so myself. Maybe these specks are too big, but you know, there we go. Oh, you know what? Sorry guys, one finishing touch. How could I forget? How could I forget the... Let's see what we can do here. There we go. There we go. Actually, I don't want it to be see-through. I just want to... There we go. Something like that. The finishing touch there. There. There we go. That's our study for today. Thanks to everyone for coming by. I hope I, you know, taught you guys something valuable. If you want to see, I'm just going to quickly pull up before I end stream. Plug my website. Let's see if I can pull it up. I have some of my other finished studies like this, and so I'm just going to show you what they could look like. So, you know, this is a MathCrunch study I did. Oh, it's kind of blurry. This is one I did that took a lot longer to do. These are all the same brushes. Here's another forest. So you can kind of get the idea. This one, I used totally different brushes. So there's like a lot of variation. Here's one I did really fast. That's supposed to be like a nice forest. You see how messy it is. Is that everything? Yeah, those are all my MathCrunch studies from the past. So, oh, this is a MathCrunch study I did. I based on a MathCrunch study. So, and then I kind of switched it up a bit, made it my own. So yeah, there's like endless possibilities with MathCrunch, you guys. And this is the latest one. There we go. I'm gonna actually make it a bit bigger. Let's make it full screen. There's the study. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate all of your support and for my first stream. So I've had a great time, and I think if I haven't forgotten anything on this, like, we're gonna call it there. Oh, I remember. We're supposed to talk about what we're doing next. So we're gonna tease the next streams. On Saturday, Jesse will be streaming how to draw magical reflections. And then on Monday at noon, Gonzalo is going to be streaming pixel art how-to, 10 basics for beginners. So check those out. I'm really excited to see your guys' stuff. If you did any MathCrunch studies, even if you didn't follow this reference, if you find your own, I'd be super happy to see it. And remember the contest that I talked about before that runs September 4th to 31st. I am sure that there'll be more information on that on the Discord that you can check out. And other than that, I think that we're good to go. So thank you so much for coming by, and I will hopefully see you next time. All right. Bye, everybody.